Welcome to this preview of HRMAC Summit 2012. This program features a conversation with keynote speaker Penelope Trunk. Penelope is co-founder of Brazen Careers, a career management tool for next-generation professionals. She has founded several successful startups and is the author of a best-selling career advice book and the #1 career blog. In this interview with Ashley Tullis from Mesero Financial and a Summit 2012 committee member, Penelope gives us a sneak preview of what she'll be covering at Summit 2012.
Penelope, thank you so much for joining us today. We're really looking forward to having you at the HRMAC Summit in November.
Thanks. I'm looking forward too.
Great. You just self-published a new book entitled The New American Dream, A Blueprint for the New Path to Success. You talk about how the new American dream is about the pursuit of interestingness, not happiness. A career filled with variety rather than defined by conventional paths to power and prestige. Is that what gives us satisfaction in the long run? Can you tell us a bit about the book and what inspired you?
Well, I did a lot of research about happiness, and it actually was spurred by the fact that Generation Y all takes positive psychology courses in school, kind of like Generation X took feminist studies courses in school. So positive psychology is the study of what makes us happy as opposed to like typical psychology, which is what makes us unhappy. And basically what people realized is that there's a set point. We have a happiness set point, like a weight set point. Like you can lose 20 pounds, but you're just going to gain back to where you normally belong. And that's true of happiness too. So we can only affect our half glass, half empty, half full outlook a very little bit. And so what I realized is that most people are not really obsessed with how happy they are. They just want their life to be interesting. And happiness is this elusive, like almost tyrannical goal that we put on ourselves. But a job, especially in the job arena, a job cannot make you happy. We already know that the little bit that we can influence our happiness comes from our personal relationships. It does not come from our job. But our job can make our life interesting. And then I realized that what the research points to is that we get more satisfaction in life by making our life interesting. And so that's really what a job can do. And what I wanted was for people to shift their obsessive seeking of happiness to just shift it to an arena in the job world where they can actually affect change and look for something that's interesting.
That sounds very interesting. You also founded 3 startups, including the Brazen Careers. Can you tell us what those experiences have taught you about human capital and HR issues?
Well, the thing about a startup is that nobody can hide. And in a big organization, there are always some people who are hiding, and you only discover them when they like really screw something up. But in a startup, if someone's not doing a good job, it shows right away. And so what I got used to is like this constant, you immediately fire someone who's not good because they can bring down the whole company. And so it made me very conscious of how to look for good people, how to retain good people, because a startup lives and dies by a single employee. And so once I realized that my obsessive hiring and firing in startups made me good at identifying what attracts young people, I realized that it could be used to really big advantages in a larger company because they can just, like I'm just hiring 4 or 5 people, but they're hiring like 400 people. And so I kind of took what I learned about human capital in a startup and just expanded it so that bigger companies could leverage that knowledge.
Oh, okay. What are the top 3 workplace trends that you're seeing now?
The first one, I think, would be interestingness, that across all generations, people are looking for work not as like a way to gain prestige or self-esteem or a big salary, but as a way to keep their life interesting and keep their learning curve high. I think the second one is a shift away from thinking about Generation Y because they've been in the workforce for so long, they're like kind of old news, and to thinking in terms of Generation Z. So what we learned about managing employees is that the people who were late to the game on Generation Y, those companies really suffered. They had huge turnover and then had to play catch up. And so people who can be on top of things for Generation Z entering the workforce we know they'll have a huge advantage. So it's always surprising to me that companies aren't more involved in figuring out Generation Z right now. So I see big trends in terms of what Generation Z is bringing to the table. And then the third thing I see is education. And there's a huge national trend towards homeschooling and towards self-directed learning. And as more kids, especially in the current generation that's being educated, as more kids think of education as something they do for themselves, they're going to take that to the workplace. And the workplace will become an education place, a place of self-directed learning, and the company will be a learning organization as opposed to a, here's money for your time organization. And companies will be centers for education as opposed to centers for just the transaction time for money.
All right, good. You'll be talking how to talk the talk with today's top talent at Summit 2012. Can you give us a sneak peek of what you'll be covering?
I'll focus a lot on those trends and how to make them matter for you right now, like how to get the key thing for recruiting better than your competitors is to understand the trends faster than your competitors. So if you've heard about something 3-4 times, then your competitors have too, and they're going after the same types of people with the same types of tools. So what we'll be focusing on is how to leverage the newest trends and how to take those trends and create recruiting tools so that you can leverage knowledge of the newest trends.
Great. I think we're really looking forward to that. We appreciate you taking the time with us to give us a sneak peek.
Thanks a lot.
Hear more from Penelope and other thought leaders on Thursday, November 8th. For registration information, visit us online at HRMAC.org.